Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I am a makeup enthusiast. So I am trying to do a YouTube video, but and TikTok too. But I have social anxiety. So talking to people is very difficult for me. I'm working on it. So I'm going to try to do a video where I'm talking. The YouTube videos, I generally try to talk, and TikTok, I usually don't, but I'm also going to work on that. Anyhow, all that aside, I was requested to do more looks with this palette, the Serpentine palette by Lethal Cosmetics. So I am happy to oblige. I already have my face put together, all the foundation and everything. My eyebrows are done. I've primed my eyelids, so we're just going to go ahead and get started right away. I think because I'm going to do all the looks today, and then I'll just remove the makeup and start the next one. I'm going to go from light to dark so that if there's any staining, it doesn't show up, although I will be repriming my eyes, so that will help, but I'm still going to do the light to dark. So hopefully I can create a look that everybody likes. I'm going to try to do 3 looks with this one palette today. So I think the first one, I'm going to start off relatively simple, and I'm going to do something that's like fairly neutral in case somebody watching doesn't like the more bold looks. So I'm going to start off with Sidewinder here. Also, let me know if you would like me to do swatches of the palettes. I haven't been doing that. I know everybody else kind of does swatches, but if that's something you would like to see in my videos, just let me know and I'll be happy to do that. So I'm going to start off with the Sidewinder. I should have used a fluffy brush. I should have done that. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Well, I'm just going to start with this anyhow. This is not generally a brush I would use for a color like this, but that's okay. We're going to do a neutral, and it's just packing the color on. So we'll make it work. Now I'm going to use a fluffier brush to blend it out a little bit so that I don't have harsh lines. This is just a clean brush. It's a Morphe. I'm not sure what number it is. Most of my brushes come from Ross or Burlington, somewhere cheap. I do have a few Morphe brushes, or I've recently just started getting Ipsy, so I'll probably get more brushes from them. I've got a few. I just want to soften this a little bit. I don't do a lot of neutral looks because I adore color. So it's not that I can't. I just really I love color. So if you like color, you're in the right place, because I definitely do more looks with color. I think as I get more comfortable, I'll try to do videos where I'm doing maybe some character makeup. I've done a cat. I've done like a tiny face. Don't know if I'll redo those again, but try some different things. I have ideas. Also, I thought it would be a lot of fun to use ChatGPT and type in something, I don't know, outrageous, and try to recreate whatever look it chooses for me. So if you want to see that, let me know. I think that would be a lot of fun to do. And it would give me ideas for super creative looks. So now I think I'm going to go in with Paralysis. It's this gray shade right here. And I'm going to continue to use this brush. I think I'll wipe it off just a little bit. I'm just going to use this to try to deepen it up a little bit. That's actually brighter than I was hoping. That's okay. That's very bright. I was going to darken it, but I think that made it brighter. My bad. Just trying to blend it with that same fluffy brush. I'm just trying to blend it just a little bit into that first color. So I think to deepen it, let's see. I'm going to go in with Prey, because I think if I did it with Feral, it would be too dark. So I'm going to go in with Prey right here. And we're just going to do that outer corner. Not that brush. Here we go. Just to deepen it up just a little bit, add a little bit of color. I'm going to still keep it neutral. I'm going to still keep it neutral. I just want a little depth right there. And it's not going to be too extreme. I'll blend it back out. I just need a little darker. And really, I'm just trying to blend it in with that gray. I'm going to brush away, I'm going to use this little brush, and brush away the fallout. There's a little bit of fallout here. Okay. Like I said, I already did my face makeup, so I'm going to try to keep everything clean. But I noticed last time I used this palette, there was some fallout. This is a special mug to me. My best friends and I, we call ourselves the Golden Girls. And one of my friends went to, let's see, I think it was in Mexico, and she found those mugs. And so she brought us all some mugs. So cute. So it's now one of my favorite mugs. Okay, so now I think in order to keep this neutral, I'm going to go in with Slither. It's this gold shimmer. And I'm just going to do that Oh, before I do that, actually, I want to use some of my NYX glitter glue. I need to get some more of this because it has a hole and it tends to pour out of the side here. Oh, that's actually, I think it's the only place that I can get, let's see, it comes out right there. It's the only place I can get it to come out anymore. So I need to replace it. And of course, as usual, I always end up putting too much on my hand or my finger. So I'm just going to tap it with a brush kind of all over my lid. I left this front portion of my lid kind of bare. Okay, so now I have that on. I'm going to let it dry down just for just a brief moment, but not too long. I don't want it to become too dried out before I put that color on, but I don't want it too wet either. And I did use a lot of, I used a lot of the glitter glue or glitter primer, so I don't want it to look creasy. Okay, so I'm just going to go just right about the center and over just a little bit. And just tap that on there using the same brush as I used for the primer. Just working my way across most of the lid. Not all the way to the outer corner and not all the way to the inner corner, but just kind of keeping it in the center. More over here. I don't know if you can tell, but this side of my face is a little bit swollen. I have a broken tooth, a broken molar in the back. I went to the dentist yesterday and it's infected, so my face is a little bit swollen on the side. They prescribed me some antibiotics, so I went and got those yesterday. I think, again, to keep this neutral, I'm going to use hemotoxin. It's this lighter shimmer here. Let's see if I can get it there. On the inner corners. And I'm actually just going to flip the brush around that I was just using and use the other side of it. That's beautiful. I know I used it last time, but it just is gorgeous. I only used it just a tiny bit on the inner corner, so now I'm using more of it, and I can see just how beautiful it is. So I went to go pick up the amoxicillin for my infected tooth yesterday, and there was a couple ladies there. One was the grandmother, then the daughter, and then her daughter. Then her daughter, the youngest daughter was just a little girl. I would say no more than 6 or 7 years old. But she started talking to me, which again, I am not super comfortable talking to people. I mean, I don't know. People talk to me. I don't know why. It's like when somebody doesn't like an animal, not that I don't like people, let me clarify, but it's when somebody doesn't like animals and then they go to somebody's house and the animal always goes to that person. That's how it is for introverts. When you're an introvert, you don't really want to talk to people because I don't know how to explain it for people who aren't introverts and don't understand, but you don't want to talk to people and they always seem to find you. They always talk to you. So that was the situation yesterday. The lady started talking to me, or the grandmother did. And, okay, 1 second before I continue, I do want to do the lower lid. I'm going to go back in with that Prey, the red one here, and just do the lower lash line. I'm going to keep it real close to the lashes because I don't want it to be too much for somebody who maybe doesn't like a lot of color. And then I'll probably blend that out with the gray again, and blend down just a tad bit to make it all cohesive. So this grandmother's sitting there talking to me, and she's talking about how she's looking for the movie The Blind Side. And she says that she loves that movie, but she can't find it anywhere. She thought she owned it, and then she realized she didn't. And so she's frustrated because she tried to get it on Netflix, but they want to charge her separate from her account. And so she was annoyed by that. And she said she can't find it anywhere. And she really wants to watch it. And so, whoops, I goofed a little bit and went down too low. That's all right. I'll just clean that up. No biggie. So me and my awkward self, I'm trying to figure out what I say to her. And I turn to her and I say, oh yeah, that's a good movie. I own it. Now, to be fair, in my mind, just before I said this, I was thinking, oh, I have it. I should loan it to her. That's what I was thinking. But as I was saying, oh, I have it, or oh, I have it, I like it, I have it, I realized as I had just finished saying that, you don't really loan things to strangers. So I was like, didn't really think that went through. And so then I didn't finish saying like, I'll loan it to you. So then it just sounded like, I like the movie too. I own it. Too bad you can't watch it. You know, I just thought, oh, that came out really rude. So then I tried to redeem myself. And there was like a short pause because I realized how awkward that was. And so then I said, but the true story kind of sucks, but the movie's good, at least. So again, I can't go out in the wild. I stay home because I don't do good in the wild. So I did end up making that just a little bit darker than I wanted, but that's okay. I guess I gotta make this one match a little bit because I can't wipe it away. And I don't really want to redo the whole face of makeup. Maybe I'll take it in just a little bit. I could get another clean brush and blend it out more. But those are the kind of stories my friend likes me to tell. She thinks it's hilarious. She thinks my awkwardness is so funny. And I'm just sitting there so humiliated because I'm like, why do I say these things? Why do I talk? I should just listen. But then, you know, people expect you to engage. So I'm like forced to think of what to say. Just gonna wipe just a little bit with the tissue. That's looking a little bit better. Tissues really help. I just didn't want to use like a makeup wipe or something. I'm so used to like smoking things out. I didn't really think about where my placement was, but that's okay. So here, it's a fairly neutral look. I should try to blend this out a little bit more. I'm gonna get another clean brush because that other one has too much gray in it. And I just really want to blend this out a little bit more. This is a very neutral look. Now for an eyeliner. I have this little caddy. It's so handy. Again, I got it, I think, is it Ross? I think I got it at Ross. So I think to keep it neutral, and this one is kind of peachy, this last color that I did. I'm going to go ahead and keep it relatively peachy. I'm going to use this ColourPop cream gel liner. The shade is Peach Fuzz. So I'm going to do my waterline with this one. And then I'll use a black for the upper lid because I need to hide the fact that I don't have any eyelashes. If you've seen my videos before, you know I don't have eyelashes because I have trichotillomania. I feel like I need to keep saying that so that, because I feel like if I don't, people are going to say, why don't you have eyelashes? So I have to hide the fact that I don't have any eyelashes. Now I'm going to use this black Color Stay eyeliner, Revlon Color Stay. Actually, I think the black ColourPop is better. That really doesn't go anywhere, but because I'm going to go ahead and wash this off pretty much immediately, I'm just going to go ahead and use this for now. Tight line. And I really have to fill it in quite a bit. Again, if there's any gaps, you'll notice there's no lashes. I've pulled my eyelashes out since I was a young girl. My mom used to tell me all the time, if I didn't stop pulling out my eyelashes, she was going to buy me false eyelashes and make me wear them. Back then, we didn't know that what I had was a disorder. So I don't know that that would make a difference because as I got older, she found out that it was a disorder. And then she tried to claim it's not a disorder. So she said, no, you don't pull out your eyelashes, and you didn't pull out your eyelashes as a child because you have a disorder. You started pulling out your eyelashes when you saw me pulling out my eyebrows. Sounds hereditary, doesn't it? She had no eyebrows. In fact, she had her eyebrows tattooed on. But she was in denial. She doesn't think that this is a disorder, or she didn't think this is a disorder. She's no longer living. So, and I'm going to use this Wet n Wild Mega Liner, liquid liner. And I'm going to do a small wing. I just have to remind myself that I'm doing a small wing because I really like to have a big wing, but maybe somebody doesn't like that. If you have a hard time doing a wing, now I'm not an expert, so take this with a grain of salt. But if you have a hard time doing a wing, don't start from the inside and work out because your skin just doesn't want to stay put. But when you start from the outside and go in, it's just a lot easier to get that little wing that you're looking for. I just gave you advice on how to do it, and then I just screwed this up. So they're cousins, not sisters. I did get this one out just a little bit further. So this one is just all wrong. That's all right. Whatever. We'll work with it. Got a little eye boogie that fell out. You might not have wanted to hear that, but that's the kind of thing you're probably going to hear. We're going to see if these lashes work. They're kind of old. They're not shaped the greatest anymore. So I'm going to try to pull off just a little bit of the old glue. And then I'm going to use just a liner. And I'm going to wrap the lash around the liner and hold just to give it some of that curve back. Actually, you know what? Look at that. I'm going to do that so that I can prep my eyelid for the lashes. And I also want to put some, I think brown. I think I'll do brown. So I have both my eyelashes there. It's a little quirky, I know, but just go with it. That is not brown. That is red. Here's a brown. So I'm using the ColourPop Sunny Veil just to do just the smallest amount right here. So that it doesn't have too much of a disconnect. And then I'm going to use a liner brush and just kind of smudge it. So it kind of goes up into that wing. So it doesn't look so disconnected. And then I'm going to use that same liner brush because why not? I'm already going to have to wash a ton of brushes tonight so that I can do another video tomorrow. I put a little bit of glue on the back of my hand. You can see too where I used the, I used my foundation and blended it into the back of my hand. So I'm going to take that same liner brush and just dab it into the glue on the back of my hand and go along my eyeliner. It's like taking two sticky sides of tape and sticking them together. It just sticks so much better when you put your lashes on. I'm going to put my lashes on, and then I'm going to take the what's it called? The lip balm. I'll take the lip balm off my lips so that I can finish up with a lipstick or a something. I'll finish my lips with something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna finish with yet. We're just, oh, and see, it looks so much better now that I wrapped it around that liner. Because this is a neutral look, actually, I think I will use this NARS lip, let's see, is it a lip gloss? Looks like a lip gloss. This NARS, it's called Get Happy. And I think I'll use a little, this is a ColourPop Lippy Pencil. The shade is Bumble. Okay, now let's get those lashes on. Get my hair. Because I let it dry down a little bit, it'll stick to my lid much easier. So if you have a hard time putting lashes on, let it dry down a little bit. Let it get tacky. And if you see the white, that's just because the glue hasn't dried completely. You don't want it to dry completely. But when it dries, that white will go away. So I'm going to work on this other one. And then as this gets a little bit closer to drying, I'll move it just exactly where I want it. It's pretty much there. I just have to move it just a tad. Don't do what I just did. I put a little bit of glue in my eye on accident. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to pop off camera really quick and take my hair down, and we'll come back with this final look, and then I'll wipe it off, and we'll get started on the next look. So stand by. Okay, here's the look for the neutral using the Serpentine palette from Lethal Cosmetics. My glue here is still a little bit tacky. I used just a tad too much on the lash itself. So, but okay, so that's the first look. I'm going to use this Florasis makeup wipe. I love these things. I buy several boxes at once. They work so well. I usually use just a half of a makeup wipe, and I cut it in half. However, because I'm just removing it from my eyes, I'm going to cut it into fourths. And I have it folded the wrong way. I'm going to cut it into fourths, and I'm just going to wipe away the makeup on my eyes. I'm not going to redo my face makeup. Oh, I meant to say that I used a highlighter. I can't really see it too much. I didn't use a lot of it because I tried to keep it subtle. But I used the Sugar Drizzle palette. I used Twinkling Down. It's kind of a peachy shade here. I figured because it's, I don't know, can you see it shift? I figured because it's a neutral look, that would be a good one. So now I'm going to cut it into fourths. And I'm going to put these lashes right back on the liner so that they hold their shape again, because I might use them again for the next look. The glue is still a little bit tacky, so that came off very easily. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to wash off the eye makeup. I have to be very careful because I really don't want to do the whole face again. Okay, now that I have the eye makeup removed, I'm going to put just a little bit of this organic jojoba oil. Oh, it's traveling. This is why I don't generally wear lip gloss. It just travels too much. So I'm going to use this jojoba oil just to re-moisturize my eyelids and let that seep in just a little bit. I'm going to go grab a little something to eat, and then I'll be back to do the next look. I have very sensitive eyelids, so I'm going to make sure those babies don't dry out too much. Okay, I'm back. So one makeup look is done. We have two more. I took a little break and got some fruit to eat. I'm just going to dab off this jojoba oil that I wanted to have absorbed into my lids, because I have very, very dry lids, but I wanted some of that to get in there before I add my regular moisturizer and then start the second look. Let's see, there's still some. Gotta make sure it's not too oily. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? That's not too bad. Okay, so I'm gonna use a little bit of my moisturizer, very little. I use the number 7. I love this stuff. Let's see if you can see it. Love this stuff. Use it on the upper and lower lid. Just putting back some of that moisture from what I took off when I took off my last look. I just knew that I would need to use a lot of moisturizer in order to do the 3 looks in one today. You know, most creators do one look 3 days in a row and then they post it. But I have another palette that I really want to do tomorrow. Super excited for. So we're doing the 3 today, and then I'm going to use, I have a lot of palettes that I want to make videos for. So let that dry down just a little bit. Okay, And while I'm waiting for that to dry down, I'm going to use some more lip balm. This also is from Florasis. It's like a ginger, I can't remember what all it is. It's a ginger lip balm. It's so cute. It has a little thing that you can use to, a little spatula, sorry. It has a little spatula you can use to apply it, but I just use my finger. And it just keeps everything nice and moisturized while I'm putting on my makeup. I did go ahead and remove the lip gloss that I had on simply because it started to travel as I was eating. So I'm going to just use a little bit of this concealer. This one is the Wet n Wild. It's actually highlight and contour, but I'm just going to use it as a concealer because I'm really light skinned and I don't want to use too much. That was actually, there we go. That's probably enough. And I'm just going to dab that up a little bit. Just get everything ready to go again. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to use, where'd it go? Now I'm going to use my Menagerie Camouflage Powder just to set that under eye. I'm not going to bake because I don't want a cake. There, we're good to go. Didn't close it. All right, so now I'm going to prime my lids. I put my primer away after the last one, not really sure why. I'm going to use a little bit on the back of my hand. And I'm going to use the same brush that I used before. Okay, so now I have my eyes primed. Now, let's decide what we're going to do for the next look. I'm going to do the purple on the outer edge. I'm going to go ahead and do pink instead. So I'm going to use Serpent's Tongue just to sweep across. And I did use it once before for the last video I made, but I'm going to go lighter this time. I'm going to tap off some of it. I probably should have let my eyelid primer dry down just a tad bit more, but that's okay. Or I could have set it with some powder. But I just go with the flow. We'll just see what happens. I want that to blend more there. Eventually it'll dry down and I can blend some more, so it's not that big a deal. Okay. So since I'm new to the YouTube and TikTok platforms, what is it you would like to see? Eventually I'd like to do some more character makeup, as I said earlier. Not all the time, but just like a little, switch things up. I would like to do some palette bingos because I think that's a lot of fun. And I'd like to see where I could go with that. I mentioned letting ChatGPT pick a look for me. So we'll try that. Now this look is not going to be for somebody who likes it super subtle. Maybe this is just a step closer to using more color if you want to get away from just doing neutral. Sorry, I have a cold sore right here. It's just because I wipe my lips so often. I sound like I'm drooling. Oh. All right. So now I'm going to go in with Feral. I'm going to set that brush aside because it's really fluffy and I definitely want to use it for blending them together. But I'm going to go in with Feral. It's a darker purple down here. And I'm just going to tap that out here. I'm going to go from half of my lid. Yeah, I've got some more fallout here, but we'll just sweep that away. Kind of work that into my crease a little bit. It's nice and pigmented. So yeah, tell me what you'd like to see so I can give you what you want and please engage with me. Like, tell me what you want to talk about. Also, I'm a better listener than I am at talking. So, tell me what you want to say. So I'm going to go back in with that first brush and just blend those two together to get rid of any harsh lines. Okay, so now I'm going to go into Scales, this green here, and I'm going to do the front part of my lid. That's a lot of fallout there. I try to tap. I could knock it off. I don't worry about it too much. So I'm just going to continue to blend, make sure everything blends together nicely. I'm going to use that same color Feral, and I'm going to do underneath my eye. Use a small brush here. Some more fallout. Now I think I'm going to do just a very small amount of the bright green just underneath in the front. Oh, maybe. There we go. It's very, very light. I'm just going to tap that. Try to get it to stay. So now I'm going to take Viper, and I'm going to put that on the center of my lid. Now using the same brush, I'm going to go back into that Viper. I'm going to go into that Viper. Oh, I guess I probably should have used the right side there. And just tap that on. I didn't let it dry down at all. I probably should have waited for it to just get a little bit tacky, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Now I'm going to add a little sparkle to the bottom. I'm going to use Snake Bite. It's this purple here. I'm going to use that same brush. It has a little bit of the glitter primer on it, and I do want it to be a little bit more sparkly. And I'm just going to do that outer edge where that purple left off. And then I'm going to blend the sparkle from the top into those other two colors. I think I'm going to do Hemotoxin again, just on that inner corner to brighten it up. I know I've used this in every look so far. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to add just a little bit under my brow here with that same Hemotoxin. I'm going to use this green by ColourPop. If I can find the name of it. Okay, this one is Wild Idea, and it's multi-chrome. I'm just going to use this e.l.f. liner for my wing. I'm going to go just out here. Let's see, from this brow here. See, this is what happened. Oh, yeah, too late. I was going to show you it bubbles as it gets older, and then it starts to drip all over you. This one is definitely drying out more than I like. I think it's time to retire this e.l.f. felt pen, eyeliner pen, because it doesn't like to work. I've noticed that the last couple times I've used it. So it's time to retire it. So I'm going to do that. Just a little bit here. And actually, that's probably what I'll use this for, is just to do this with. I think this is what I used last time. Make sure I didn't pick up some of that green. We do not want to smudge that back after we just cleaned that up. And by we, I mean me. Although you might not want me to either. In which case, thank you for that. That will just brighten it up just a little bit. Now that I have the lash glue down on my lids, I'm going to go in with these colored lashes that I found on Amazon. Been using them for a while now. They're getting to where they don't want to stay. I'm going to have to replace them soon. But I love the little colors on the end. I'm going to use the ones that have the yellow and green, because I think it'll tie the green back in to the purple. This is very purple heavy. While it's drying down, I'm going to go ahead and line my lips and do my lipstick. What do I want to do? What is this one? I have some that I bought for my friend when she got married and I did her makeup. This is another glossy lip balm. I don't know. It's very, very pink. I feel like I need something darker. I have thoughts. Let's see. What's in there? Oh, yeah. Let's see if I can get something out of this. Yes. I think this has got more of a green tint to it. So now I just have to figure out. Is my black lipstick in here? I think that's the black one. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to see what I can get out of this. These tend to dry out on me before I use it all, but this is from Menagerie. It has a green and peachy shift. It's called Dragonfly, and we're going to see how this works out because I don't have a black lip liner, so this could turn out horrible. This actually isn't even brown. This is a dark red, burgundy. We're going to make it work. Then I'm going to take this brush here and just try to brush it in a little bit. I forgot about my lashes, so before I finish, I better get those on. Actually, I really like that color. Half tempted to just go with the green over this. Maybe I will. All right, let's get those lashes on before they dry down too much. So they may already have. This one seems to. Yeah, I started with this one. Let's do this one. Okay, one done. I really like how this liner looks. Of course, I just smudged it. Let's do that. And that. Now I wiped away too much. Okay, so now I'm going to use that dragonfly from Menagerie. See what I can get out of here. I'd love to know how to get these to... I tried adding oil to see if I could get them to be usable again, but it didn't work. And to finish off the look, we're going to add a little bit of highlighter to the cheeks, maybe a little bit to the tip of the nose this time. Again, I'm going to use the Sugar Drizzle. I think I'm going to use Love in Stars. Actually, maybe I'll use Starry Nights. This one here. So I'm going to just use this time. Just brush it on right here. Okay. And I'm going to take my hair out of these clips. And here's the finished look. Okay, welcome back. I let my eyes rest a little bit. I have rosacea on my eyelids, so I have to take little breaks in between and put on that jojoba oil and let it absorb a little bit. Just short breaks. But let's go ahead and get started on our third and final look. So I think I'm going to do a half cut crease this time. I'm going to use I want to use the Cold Blood on the outer corner and Slither for the inner corner. I didn't have the heart to wash off my lipstick because I think it's so pretty. So we're just going to leave it on until after the look, and then I will probably switch lipsticks because this is not going to go with the new look. So let's see. I put some moisturizer on my lids, the number 7 again. So hopefully my eyelids will survive for the rest of this video. This is starting to get a little bit dried out, so I will definitely be using gel pads under my eyes when I sleep tonight because they're looking a little bit rough at this point. Also, I decided that I'm going to do my eyes first, and then I'll do some concealer underneath and clean it up instead of continuing to wipe away and yada, yada, yada. So I don't have any concealer under there right now, and it shows. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to prime my eyelids real quick. I should have planned that out in advance, had that all done. I'm just going to go ahead and use this. Okay, so I'm going to start with a fluffy brush here. This is a Morphe FF4. And I'm going to start with this shade here, Prey. And I'm just going to do that just starting here and working my way very carefully because I don't want any creases to show up. I'm just going to tap very lightly and then blend very carefully right there. And let's see, how far out do I want to blow this out? I think I've got some of that eye cream in my eye. I don't have any of the cream in my eye. I just have it, on my lids, so the fumes tend to bother my eyes. I'm a sensitive girl. So I think what I'm going to do is, since I'm still using that shade, I'm going to run it underneath on the lower lash line just a little bit. I'm going to tap it because I don't want it too pronounced. And also, I don't know how oily that's going to be since I had so much jojoba oil, if I can talk, which we all know I can't. So okay, my eyes want to water right there in those corners. So I'm going to go ahead and use a small brush here just to pick up where it's trying to water and make sure that that doesn't look lighter than everything else. And then try to blend it just a little bit more. Okay, so now we have, now that we have that, I'm going to go in with Cold Blood. I don't think I've used this one yet. And I'm going to deepen this just a little bit on the lid. My eyes are bugging me now. There's a reason why people don't do 3 looks in one day. It is a bit much, but I really did want to get this done. So I can do the next palette tomorrow. And hopefully I'll give my eyes a rest overnight. If not, I'll have to postpone tomorrow's video. That'll be fine, I guess. 1 more day isn't gonna hurt. I'm liking how this is looking, but I still want to deepen this outer corner just a little bit more. So I'm going to go back in with Feral and just do the very outer corner here, just to give it that extra depth. So I'm just taking my other half of my makeup wipe and I'm soaking a Q-tip so I can absorb some of that moisture from the wipe that I'll be using tonight. And I'm just going to carefully wipe away just a little bit of this makeup so we can cut our crease. We'll be adding some more primer down. So we kind of have that carved out just a little bit. So now that I have those kind of carved out, I'm going to take my primer again. I'm going to put it just on the back of my hand because I want to be very careful where I place it. I'm just going to take this very small brush here and prime my lid exactly where I want to put down the makeup. We have that carved out. Now I'm going to take some glitter primer again, and I'm just going to add it to that first portion of the eye. Back onto the back of my hand again. Actually, I don't even need to do that because it's just coming out of that little hole constantly. I think I used too much, so I'm going to put some over here too. So we're going to go in with Slither. This one here. Okay, and now I want to blend with a fluffier brush. Just some of this, I want to just dust a little bit from over here, gently over into the red, so that I don't have that harsh line. Let's see if we can get this to look the way I envision it to look. Okay, so now before I finish up the look, I'm going to use just a little bit of concealer. Okay, that brightened it. Actually, this lip does go quite nicely with this look I just did. All right, so now we're going to pick out a liner. And I think, do I want to do a gold or a red? What do you think? You know what? There's more red than gold, so I'm going to go ahead and use the gold. And this one is called Wildcat, and it's by ColourPop. So I'm going to go ahead and go in on the waterline. I smudged it down on the lash a little bit. Not intentionally, but I'm not hating it, so happy accidents, people. Happy accidents. Yeah, it's not... It's just because my eyes are watering too bad. Okay, well, you win some, you lose some. That's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and just use this liquid liner by Wet n Wild to give myself a bit of a wing. I'm going to curve the wing just a little bit. I will fix this before the final look. So I'm going to use the colored lashes again. This time I'm using, oh, where's the screen? There we go. I'm going to use purple and red because I don't have a gold and red, which would be super, super pretty. Line this. Okay. All right. So to finish it up, I'm going to go back in to just blot that spot that keeps watering. I think my eyelash shifted just a smidge. There we go. So I'm going to go back in one more time just to deepen that spot that keeps watering. Hopefully you can't see it now. Hopefully. You know what I realized is that this lip does go really well with this look. So all I have to do is add a highlighter. So I'm just going to use this Natasha Denona highlighter and just brush just a little bit on the cheek where I had wiped away everything else. I should have gone in one last time with a little more blush because throughout the day my blush is faded, but that's okay. Oh my, what have I done? My curls are getting obnoxious. My hair doesn't want to cooperate anymore. It's like, nope. Is it this way? Is it this way? We don't know. We don't know. There we go. Maybe that's a little better. Okay, so this is the final look, the third and final look, using the Lethal Cosmetics Serpentine palette. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, click that subscribe button and come back and see me again. There's also other videos that I've put out. You can also watch the original video of me using the Serpentine palette by Lethal Cosmetics. I'll try to put a link right up here or up here, whichever place. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.